Eufoska's gone. People are crying. Friends, I just want to say about this so you don't think that this is a play where A, I'm putting 92% of my portfolio into it, or B, that in 2 weeks I'll be checking whether I'm up or down. This is really just my bet on what Andrew Kong, and I've totally agreed with him for a long time, keeps saying in every video that robots are waiting for their iPhone moment and that things will take off as soon as that iPhone moment arrives. But the iPhone moment might come in 3 years, 5 years, 12, or 30. Nobody knows. Yeah, makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not saying that this particular ticker is the one because Andrew could leave this thing and it could lose value. It's just, this is a big gamble, you know? So I definitely wouldn't put a huge amount into it. But for myself, like, you can invest in these kinds of things through EquityZen. I messed it up and invested back then because I just didn't understand it. Yeah, because at the time when they were offering those shares. EquityZen, it's kind of like those crowdfunding sites, where they basically arrange some kind of package for their users. You can invest at least $10,000, but you get non-preferred shares, right? And I just couldn't figure it out. 3 lawyers looked at it, lawyers I work with in crypto, and they just couldn't guarantee the enforceability of those rights if I were to buy it this way. That's why I backed out and didn't go through with it. Of course, the Robo Strategy bot is in a different position. They look at it differently because they're directly involved, whether as seed funds, seed investors, or something like that. They're just directly connected with the company and so on. For example, I wanted to invest in Aptronic myself, like really about a year ago. That whole thing. Yeah, I wanted to, sure, but there was no way to do it, not in a regulated way that would give me the assurance that, well, of course, if I wanted to put in $2 million, you guys would probably talk to me, but obviously that wasn't what I wanted. So there was just no way. And this is basically a bet that Aptronic and the other companies they have in their portfolio, which they keep acquiring, will one day go public with an IPO. In my opinion, that'll be the biggest catalyst for exiting this thing, but all the CEOs of the individual companies are saying they don't want to go public yet, that maybe they'll do an IPO in like 7 years. So basically, this could be dead money. Like your money could just be tied up for 5, maybe even 7 years. So just so you have the right expectations. This isn't something I'd want to sell in 2 months, like make 100% and cash out. This is one of those things like Su Zhu from Three Arrows Capital always said, this is either going to 1 billion or it's going to zero. Yeah, so I'm not going to be pulling money out of this if it doesn't work out. But this is basically my bet on the next crypto sector. Yeah, like I think robots will create the next crypto sector because to me, it just makes sense as a whole. So I just want to, manage your expectations. In my opinion, it was insanely overhyped because Andrew was on every podcast talking about how this is the future and so on. There were several events here, all lined up one after another. That's why I said it's too early right now, but if it drops into the red, then M&F will suddenly make sense again, and that's when I'll start buying. But like I said, that's the rule of thumb. I'll only invest money I can afford to lose, and I won't expect success in the next 3 or 4 years. Just so you know. It makes a lot of sense to me, but I definitely want to approach it in a way where 98% of my portfolio is at risk. Like, if this goes south, I'd end up on the street. Definitely not, right? So just be careful about that.